Welcome to our world. Won't you come on in? Waiting just for you. Welcome to our world.
And we're live again. Once
I
again,
hate that
we have
so
returned.
much. Okay. So what I want you to do is take note of the color on my microphone right now.
It's red
You know why it's red?
because you're angry.
Because we are complaining today.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
I have to
I'll
change mine
start.
from the stupid rainbow here.
I'll start. Yeah, you look way too happy for this conversation,
That's
okay?
not correct. Will you change this again?
It's underneath the...
I'm not going to do it. I don't want
Anyway,
to mess it up.
okay. So the first thing that I want to complain about today, which if you have anything, please feel free
I'm sure
to
I
add
will.
it.
I'm really good at complaining.
I know you are. You're so excited about these episodes. The first thing that I want to complain about today is people that don't own the intersection when we're driving. So I hate, because this happens all the time why are you making that face?
I don't understand.
People that you don't know what that means?
No, the intersection is publicly owned by the public.
Okay. Anyway, okay. Well, for Jim and those of you who don't know what owning the intersection means, obviously, it means, for example, if you are at a light and you're making a left turn, okay, and you have a flashing yellow light or something, or it's just a green light and there's no, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're making a left turn. You can go. It's your turn to go, but there are cars coming the other way. So you're obviously not going to go while there are other cars coming. You're going to wait until you have space to go. Don't be unsafe.
Let's have a death wish.
So what I hate is when people stay where the lane ends.
They don't get in the intersection.
They don't. It's called owning the intersection.
Okay.
If you are waiting to turn left at a light.
I never heard it.
That's
put
what
that
it's
way,
called.
but okay.
If you are waiting, according to me, if you're waiting to turn, I don't know if that's the official term. Maybe I just made that up one day, but I like it.
It's
no,
new.
I think it is.
It's new.
Whatever. You're waiting to turn and you can, but there are cars coming. You move up into the center of the intersection. You move into the center, okay? So that when there's space, you can go. It's efficient.
Right.
Because here's the issue. I'm yelling. So many people, and maybe it's just where I'm driving, I don't know, but I found also that this is so much worse in Florida. People in Pennsylvania maybe aren't, amazing drivers, but they're better than Floridians, first of all. Second of all, they own the intersection, okay? Because the issue is, I just want to explain the issue.
Go ahead.
If you don't move up into the middle of the intersection while you still are able to go, then the light turns yellow and then you still don't move up and then the light turns red and now we're all stuck. And now instead of me getting to go first next time because I was right behind you,
Right.
I'm still second.
So if it's busy like that, at least one or maybe two cars would have been able to go.
Yes.
But because that person that you described is, let's be clear, stupid. Okay.
That's not nice.
Okay.
But it's true.
Because they're ignorant, instead I'll say. And ignorant in the nicest sense of the word.
Yes.
They don't know that they should be doing that.
Yes.
They don't know that you're throwing hair on the floor.
Stop.
Okay.
I'll clean it up.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. First of all, I get really angry, and I hate it when it gets to the point where the light changes red. I have to get out of my car, go knock on their window, more with with my fist, and threaten them before they will go. The good thing is when you do that, a lot of times they go then, even if it's red.
Do.
They just move.
So it bothers me because, I could have gone. But this is not just at intersections that have lights. This is also just at any intersection. So out here, when you're coming from McGuire, if you're coming in the front gate here,
don't tell people where we live.
It's I didn't say,
Okay.
I just said one street.
Okay,
whatever. If you're making the left here, right? There's the left turning lane, for if you're coming from one side, the left from the other side.
Yeah.
The issue there, if the person on the other side does not move up and get into the center of the intersection and own the intersection, I can't see past them in my little car. I can't see. And so
Could you have one of those little clown cars, a smart car that
I have a Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
I don't have whatever. Anyway,
Okay.
even when I'm in the middle of the intersection, I still, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can't see past their left turn lane.
Oh.
So they're in my way.
Right.
I can't go from the other side.
Right, because they're way over toward the right
Yes.
side in their case. Yep, I know exactly what you
And
mean.
it's like, what are you doing? Like, learn
know.
how to drive.
I know. We have to. What we should do is we should have an episode of an airing of grievances, all to do with drivers,
driving.
and
I know,
traffic,
I was just thinking about that.
and parking issues and stuff
All
like
right,
that. 'cause
Moving
there's
on.
so many.
Moving on to number 2.
Go ahead.
Number 2 today is the Oxford comma.
Oh, okay.
We're taking a complete left
I'm
turn. sure.
Make sure
Wait,
you
did
put this in the title of the podcast, because I'm sure millions of people are searching for this.
Did you hear what I said though? I
I'm-
said we're taking a complete left turn.
Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah. Yep.
It wasn't funny.
Yep,
Okay.
I get it.
So the Oxford comma. I also want to make it clear that I'm, which maybe I think I said this before, that I'm very into grammar. Obviously, the 5 listeners that listen to this
do you know
podcast know that.
I only found out that this is even a thing. What was it?
I'll tell you exactly when it was.
Because I told you?
No,
You didn't teach me it. No. I found this out at work.
I just remember this was my sophomore year at Villanova.
Mhm.
I remember I was on the phone with you
Uh-huh.
and you asked me, so maybe this was whenever you found this out at work.
Maybe that
But
was a
you
long time
asked,
ago.
I was on the phone with you
Okay.
and you asked me, you were like, you're a big grammar person. How do you feel about the Oxford comma?
Okay, yeah,
And I was
that
like,
was when, yeah.
Yes, let's talk about the
Okay,
Oxford
yeah,
comma.
because that was probably a day before, maybe even that
Okay,
day
so
was when
Yeah.
I even, I never heard of it before. And I didn't use it either. After I
So-
found out about it, and because this is the way I am, right? I'm logical. First of all, explain what this is to people.
So the Oxford comma, which is, we'll get there. The Oxford comma is if you have a group of things. So if you have like, I'm going to the store to get eggs, milk, and cheese. That's your list of things to get. The Oxford comma means that you need a comma after, like, between the second and third items on that list. So if you're using the Oxford comma, which is what I think you should be doing, your sentence would be written like, I'm going to the store to get eggs, comma, milk, comma, and cheese, period. Because here's my issue. What? Go ahead.
Right, because the point is, people more often than not don't do that.
Well, they don't do that,
Because,
but that's
so
not
normally, I just want to make sure, normally they put the comma after the first item.
They'll
like
just have
eggs, milk,
eggs.
and cheese. They'd put eggs, comma, and then milk and cheese with no comma after milk.
Yeah, but so what makes this all the more annoying is that in professional writing, in like the New York Times, for example, the Oxford comma is not used. It is not recognized as the correct, like, quote unquote, correct way. And so I just get, because for me, it's like, I have always read sentences as they're written, like if I'm reading a book, I'm noting the commas, whatever. So in my mind, in that situation, when you don't have that second comma, for me, and I'm not an idiot, I understand what you're saying, but what you're writing is that milk and cheese are describing the eggs, because that's what that kind of like grouping
Eggs,
of words
milk
means.
and cheese.
Eggs, comma, milk and cheese.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
So the question is, number one, can you make eggs from milk and cheese? No. You feel free to answer that.
Is this a joke to you?
No. Yes, it is. No,
This
but
is my
but
life.
the funny thing is, now you're saying that, I always thought of it, and it's the way when I first found out this was a thing, right? That it didn't make sense because you're making it like milk and cheese. Not that they are the same as eggs, but it's like eggs, milk and cheese. Like as though milk and cheese go together
Right,
somehow,
yeah.
which doesn't make any sense.
Either way, it's annoying.
To me, and when you brought up the New York Times, doesn't recognize it,
like
doesn't use it. A lot of them don't.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, how arbitrary is that? And to me, it's wrong, right? Because
I
as you know, I'm a very logical person, right? I see myself as a modern day Mr. Spock from Star Trek, the original Star Trek. Okay, so
I'm making
no,
faces.
but to me, I know you're having no reaction intentionally. Which that's another thing. I got to remember that. Anyway, I completely lost my train of thought.
I
Hold
don't
on.
know.
No, but oh no, here I think the reason you think it's correct, and the reason I think it's correct is because it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not put the comma there? To me, I could make the argument for this. Get rid of the and. I'm going to the store to get Milks, which is a combination of milk and eggs. Milk, eggs, cheese. Now that sounds weird, right?
It doesn't sound
but
weird.
it's like I'm just saying. To me, the comma is more necessary than the and.
The and, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But it's logical. They're three separate items. They should be separated with a comma.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. So the funny thing is, that's how long ago was that then when you were a sophomore in Villanova?
6 years.
Okay, that's not okay. So for that long, ever since then, I always use it. Yeah. I always, when I'm writing, I make a point because it makes sense. It's like everything else. It's like that. It's like the phrase, some of those phrases we talked about before. What's the one?
I don't know, but I don't understand why things, and this is like a part 2 complaint of this. I don't understand, because the only reason that like major newspapers and media outlets don't use it is because that's like the generally accepted practice. And so it's like things that are, and we've talked about this kind of, words and phrases that are used incorrectly.
That's what I mean.
They're quote unquote, since they're widely used and widely accepted, they're just added to the dictionary even though they're wrong. And it's like, what do you no?
Like, right.
You're
like,
wrong. What do you mean?
Like people have been using this word incorrectly, so now we're going to give it a new definition.
That's what I'm saying. It's so stupid. Anyway, that wasn't even a complaint.
I would rather
so that's my second thing.
Yeah. Punish them.
No. Okay.
Punish the people that are using the word.
How much time are we at right now before I go off on another thing? Because this is not the airing of grievances are supposed to be shorter.
We are at
episodes for the people.
12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Let me continue then.
Yeah,
okay. Well, then I'll bring in another grammar thing.
Okay. Because of course, people searching for this.
Man, should I say this? Should I say this for another?
No.
Are you sure?
No, because the people that are still listening are interested in grammar, obviously.
And if they're not, it doesn't mean we should just save the good stuff for the next time.
Yeah, right. Let's get it out of the way.
Okay. Well, that's not nice either. You shouldn't. I care about this stuff.
I know. Well, and I'm saying there may be.
This is another one, which I don't remember if I've told you this or not, and I don't know if you say this incorrectly.
Maybe I do.
But the phrase "reason why" makes zero sense.
So use it in a sentence. Use it in a sentence.
People will say, well, the reason why this is the way it is, that's not a thing.
Okay, see, this, I've never heard this.
Okay.
So is there a reason why this is not a thing? What is the reason?
So
that, go ahead.
You don't even need another word. You don't need another word. The reason is its own thing.
Oh.
It is a complete thought by itself.
So the reason this is...
I don't know why people at some point started saying, quote, the reason why.
Or the reason that. So it's the same thing.
I mean, yeah. The reason that at least makes a little more sense in my head. Here's my thing about this. Because you could say, let me think of something. The reason... The reason, why are you laughing? Oh.
I was trying to mute the microphone.
The reason you can't mute the microphone is because you're dumb. Okay, that's a sentence. You're not dumb, but I'm just saying.
Punished.
the reason why you can't mute the microphone is because you're dumb is not a sentence.
Do we have to
okay?
use this as an example?
If I'm
Is there no other example you could
it's
think
just all
of?
I came up with because you were doing that. This is what annoys me. If you, and I don't know if you did this when you were in like grade school, did they ever make you diagram sentences?
Oh, yeah.
So you remember the noun, like there's a separate spot for the noun, the verb, you have the
Yeah, I don't
things
remember
coming down from
exactly
the
how,
bottom.
but yes, I remember
If you were
that.
to diagram a sentence with quote unquote the reason why, the why doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't, it's not anything. It's nothing. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe here's the Oxford comma thing I think I was on board with.
It doesn't make sense.
We've moved to like PhD grammar now.
Explained. Well, yeah, because I'm talking about sentence diagrams.
And you know how I said like
This
the people
should have
that
been
are
on a
still
different
listening will be interested? They're not even interested about this.
That's all I wanted to say about this. It's the reason. Finish the sentence. It's not the reason why. Or even at the end of a sentence, if you're saying, well, I'm upset because the Phillies lost, that's the reason why. That's not a sentence.
Right.
The reason I'm upset is because the Phillies lost.
Reason is a noun.
I'm upset that the Phillies lost. That's the reason.
Reason is a noun. That's all you need.
Reason is its own thing. Stop saying the reason why.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Or could reason be like an adjective or something?
I mean, reason.
And why
reason
is the noun?
No, that's what I'm saying. It couldn't.
Okay, the Phillies lost.
Because if it were an adjective, then you could take the adjective out and you could say the why I'm upset.
No. I'm saying like the example that you just gave. So if you said, I'm really upset, the Phillies lost, that's why.
That's not a thing. And people started saying that instead of saying that's the reason why. They just took reason out. They took the correct part of that. Anyway,
the why.
We're moving on because that would be a good name for like a podcast or something, or like a news source. That's the why.
You should start.
I will not.
Just a grammar podcast.
No, I shouldn't. Anyway,
I'm just saying for those 6.
This is
10 people. I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm trying to make everyone smarter right now for free.
I think that's good.
Okay,
that's a good thing.
Then stop
Which, by the way,
me.
we have to stress. We have to begin stressing that that's one of the key reasons we do this podcast.
Because
is to inform the public.
Okay, anyway. So the last thing that I want to complain about today, and I think this will be a pretty short one. I was listening to a clip from The View the other day, and and Sunny Hostin made a comment, and she's made this comment before. I've heard this in other clips where she says about how she was at a party and she's explaining what happened during the party, and she's talking about how much, alcohol was involved. And she'll say that she was overserved instead of that she drank too much. And I'm trying so hard not to raise my voice right now.
That's annoying.
When I tell you, this is worse than this is the most annoying thing today in the airing of grievances, because it's like you're taking, by saying that you were overserved instead of saying that you drank too much.
Yep.
You are completely absolving yourself of any responsibility whatsoever.
Let me redirect the blame on someone else.
So I'm going to stop you right here, because not you, her. I'm going to stop her right here. And anyone else that says this. It's just because that's the first time I heard it was from her. If you're saying that, let's say, God forbid, okay, you're saying you're overserved. God forbid you drive yourself home and you kill someone because you are drunk driving. That's what you're doing. Is it the bartender's fault?
Yes.
Is it your fault?
Yes.
No, but this is my point. And not to be this person, but especially at the types of events, because she's obviously well off.
Yeah.
At the types of events she's at.
So is she almost making light of this? Because obviously I didn't see
Yes,
that.
I think so. And obviously
Yeah, that's
nothing
awesome.
serious happens in these situations.
Right.
But she's always joking about like, well, we were overserved and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I have worked in restaurants my entire life. And like part of that as a bartender or like part of that with alcohol. And we have a lot of responsibilities. Obviously, when we see people that are clearly inebriated, you're not supposed to keep serving them, whatever. So
Right.
that is a responsibility. I have never been to like the type of parties that she's been to, and maybe I'm jumping to a bunch of conclusions here. I don't think they care.
Right.
I don't think the people that are hosting these parties and that have people serving at these parties, I don't think they care if people are inebriated.
Right.
Genuinely, I do not. Maybe that's me being super judgmental.
Right.
But to say that you were overserved instead of that you drank too much,
That's annoying. Well, anything, you know what? Anything where someone tries to
Yes.
redirect the blame off of themselves,
Yes.
that bothers me, off of themselves. But when you talked about that, it reminds me of this little video clip on, I'm sure it was on TikTok and all the different media sites, but where there's a guy, right? And someone's like pouring a drink for him. And he's like, oh, no, it looks like he's at a restaurant or whatever. It's like,
Oh.
no more.
Yes.
And the camera widens out and it's his own arm. Okay.
Yeah. Those are
pouring this
funny.
out. It was funny. That was very funny, but that's what it made. He was overserved by himself.
By himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of concept.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's annoying. That bothers me. I would like to hear from anyone that is okay with that.
Yeah. That's just a wild thing to say.
Sonny Austin will probably be leaving a comment on this.
Yeah, right. She's not going to remember it in the morning because she was overserved.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all have a great weekend or week or whatever this is.
Yep.
Use the Oxford comma and don't say the reason why. That's what we've learned.
Okay.
And own the intersection and don't get inebriated. But if you're going to, then own up to the fact that you got yourself drunk and someone else did not.
To stop this, but
Woo!
just remind me again the reason why I shouldn't use the Oxford comma.
You missed
I'm recording.
that riff. Oh my god!
Come on,
I can never recreate that
I'm gonna
riff
cut.
the way
We're
I
gonna
just
cut.
did it.
I'm stopping it.
Goodbye.
We can listen to this. Just make sure it's okay.